is the insurances that go alongside it. So I deal a lot with the owners of the business and making sure that they've got their families and their business is protected should something happen to them, over the test of time, really. So that's what we do quickly. But I've been an Introbiz member. I'm in my 4th year, and I joined Introbiz because when I come out of corporate life, I've helped people build their businesses, but when you have to build your own, then one thing you got to have is people to speak to, clients and things like this. So I used Introbiz to connect myself with the local community in South Wales, West Wales, and then further afield, as time went on. So, and I found this pretty useful for me to get in the type of client and the quality of client that I want to speak to. But I got to admit, you need to have your own process to get the results out of networking and to get that return on your investment, money that you spend, to join the network or to go to the events or the traveling or whatever. So you need to set your goals and your targets. But I found that building my own process came along with it, my understanding of how networking really works. You don't just turn up at the meeting and just get business, hanging off the trees. People have got to trust you, and they've got to know that you're a regular, and that and exactly what you do, in your business. You've got to be quite clear and concise with what you do, because if you think of the World Wide Web, as we call it, it's not called that for nothing, is it really? There's a mass of people out there that are all looking for business. So how are people going to select you to do business with? And that's just the filtering coming down into networking and who you bother with. It's the same type of scenario, that you need to have clear and concise information about what you do. So I have a process, and I can share that this morning if you want, to get my return on my investment, So, and the other thing with networking is there's a lot of give. Once you understand what's going on and you understand your own business inside out, you'll have your own connections. And if you can help people connect with other people, it becomes very strong.
Yeah.
And you probably double the type of work that you have then, because people start to respect you for what you've shared with them as well. If you help them grow their own business or help them find some business themselves, then you become part of their business. They become like ambassadors of your business. Yeah. So I think that's important over time as well, to find the people within your network that you trust, because then you have people that can talk about your business to other people. And that's the true compounding effect of networking.
So the two words you got there then is you're building trust, and you're building your connections. But tell me, Phil, as well, you became the 2019 Networker of the Year.
Yes, that's right.
And then how did that sort of benefit you? And then why did you become the Networker of the Year?
I think the first thing that goes into achieving. What?
My phone just ran, but I think I can edit that bit. My phone.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Right. Yeah, I think the first thing that you realize is that to become a trusted partner of any network or a group of people, then you need to be consistent. You need to be regular. You need to turn up. People need to see your face, whether it's face-to-face or online. They need to be able to understand, there's Phil. And they'll start to know then what he does, or Cornerstone does. And they can usually say 3 or 4 one-liners about what I do, because I'm pretty consistent in the message I give to people at every event. You can change it slightly, but as long as the core theme is right. So what I found then is, as I was getting into my 3rd year, that I knew a lot of people, so I was able to get that trusted sort of advisor type of mantle, because I was becoming regular on the events. I turned up, twice a week, whether it was at the events in Cardiff, Swansea, or across South Wales. So people get to know you quite well. So then what I found then was that I got my own process. So I was speaking to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I was following up, the old mantra of, the fortunes in the follow-up. But you need to work out what that means for each individual, because everybody wants something different out of networking. So then when I had my own sort of the process, which again, we'll talk about in a second, but I spoke to a lot of people. So then that gets around, or Phil's speaking to a lot of people and connecting a lot of people and helping people grow. So that's where the sort of I started to get in the sort of into the throes of being able to challenge for the Networker of the Year title, which is great in South Wales because Introbiz is a massive network and it's growing. So I feel now I can grow with it.
Yeah.
But when Swansea and West Wales launched as well, I was able to just take my processes from Cardiff into that one and just duplicate it. So they saw a lot of the benefits of what I was doing immediately because I was able to connect them. Like we mentioned a couple of people that I know in Sweden, and we pushed them through to yourselves, and hopefully that you'll be able to make some sort of inroads with them over the next couple of months or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just found that attending the meeting is like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
That just gets the visuals. They know who you are. They get to trust you. They know your brand, your logos. You can see the logos behind. And so they know that. And then it's about, you need to share with people. So if you get to know a little bit about them and they get to know a little bit about you, it's not all about new people all the time because that's impossible. But when you get to know people, it's like peeling back the onion skin. You just get to know them a little bit better and a little bit better. And you will eventually know when it's right to talk about some business. So you need to have that bit of a process. So it's a little bit of everything each week. So coming back to the Network of the Year award, I was getting a lot of business from Introbiz and the two branches. And that was because I was concentrating on booking like say 4 or 6 appointments a week, purely from my networking connections. So I was able then to know a lot what was going on. So if somebody said to me, I need a painter and decorator, then I'd know somebody in that area, or somebody wanted a digital marketeer, because I was around and listening to whatever other people were saying, and I was able to help share with people, and that gets around that you are helping other people grow. So that's when I think the basis of how I won the award. I had my own business and I'd done quite well out of that. I set my own targets, but I was able to connect a lot of people. So I was able to give back to people. And of course, if you've got that reputation, then people will come to you as well. Say, Phil, do you know somebody who can help somebody, they want sort of tires for their truck or something like that. And then you'll be able to sort of push them in the right direction,
Quite funny, isn't it? You're a finance specialist there and then somebody's asking you for a tire. Do you know anybody who can fix my tires or fix anything? But that just shows that networking works, isn't it? And you're building that trust. So you keep
we're not stuck to like one industry. We don't just do finance for say sort of construction or something like that. So we everybody at some stage in their business career will want some type of finance, whether it's personal stuff for the mortgage or loans, whether it's invoice financing, or whether it's to buy the factory or the office block that they're in, or whatever. Insure their family, protect the shares of the businesses. So you just got to get inside those people, and you've got to become part of that business. So they think, Phil will sort that out, and so I get a chance to quote. And that's what you want, isn't it? As an advisor, as a salesperson, you want the chance to quote the business. And then when you're quoting regularly, you want some of the bigger ones. So you just keep resetting your goals.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And it benefits you as well. And it seems to be is a lot of things looking outside the box now, not just being focused on one direction. You're looking at all different avenues. So you're building those relationships, so it's benefiting you, other people, and you just keep giving and building that trust.
And just talking about the process, I think there's 3 key points to networking. And I think you've got to make a decision about what you want from networking. So everybody will want different things. Somebody might want to improve their turnover, their business, or their sales. Other people will want to make connections in a certain part of a country, and other people might just want, it's a sort of a family business or whatever, and they'll just want to grow it as they feel it's right. So whatever it is, so you need to get that right in your mind first. The second point is you need to understand and go quite deeply really into how you're going to get your return on your investment. So wherever you are in life, if you spend 3,000 on something or 10,000 on something, you need to decide what success looks like. So if it's 5 times what you put in or whatever, then you need to set by yourself so you know whether you've been successful or not. So then you're starting to build this process. And then the real key thing is to understand your own ideal client. Who is, or what is your avatar? So what does your ideal client look like? And when I worked on this with one of sort of my mentors, it was like, go on, tell me about your ideal client. So I was like, so I started to reel it off, and the lady kept going, yeah, keep going. And she wanted me to know it inside out, wanted to know more of it. So I eventually got to about 20 characteristics of my ideal person or my ideal company that I work with. So I always say to people, when I transmit this now to people who are just starting into networking, is there's so many people out there, but how do you know the ones that you want to speak to yourself? So I got about 20 characteristics at the moment, but I always say to people, focus on 10 or 15. And if you can get that, you'll be able to reel that off to other people, and it'll come across as confident. I work that into the elevator pitch to start off. So, you got your 30 seconds or a minute where you've got to sort of sell what you're looking for and or who you're looking for. And I think that's the key, really, is to understand who you're looking for, and you need to be able to tell other people who you're looking for. Yeah. So if you keep drilling down on your own ideal client and you know it inside out, then you'll be able to put that across to other people, and then the people that start to trust you will know exactly who you were looking for. So they become like an extension of your own sales process. I think that's really key to networking, is to understand how you can drill down and get that. And the quicker you get that and invent that process, then networking will become easier for you, because you go online and you're not looking for the person that you're talking to just buy off you. You're looking for that person to understand what you're looking for, because they might have 250, 300, 400,000 clients. So if they understand what you're looking for, then that's what's expanding your growth potential.
Exactly. So what if we just go back a bit, we just saying when you go to these networking events, you're just saying they are just the tip of the iceberg, but you're building relationships and you're looking, and then your strategies that you're using are, you're looking for what you want, understand how to return. And when you talk about your investment, you talk about the investment of the Introbiz, or
becoming a member, what your membership fees are, what it is if you go to events, how much it takes you to travel to get there, whatever costs you put against it. But if you go to a face-to-face meeting and there's 20 people at this meeting on your table or whoever you're speaking to, then you need to understand how many of those 20 are in your avatar, are in your ideal client listing. So I go A, B, C. A, if they fall into A, then I want to network with them and I want to speak to them as quickly as possible. B will mean I don't know a lot about them yet, but I need to find out some more. They have lots of potential. They're a big company. They're good networkers themselves, so they can introduce me to a lot of people. C might be, there's nothing in this client for me at the moment, so I just become somebody who would help them grow their own network, because that's part of the give. So I go ABC. So if I'm in an event and I pick up 20 business cards, I put them in front of me and go ABC. It's as simple as that. So
you take the business cards away and you go, you go back to the office, and then you put them in your categories, and then that's, and like you said, that's the important bit. Then is the follow up. So the power follow up.
And I think taking that a step further, business cards can become like I call it a disease, because I got a drawer full here, and of course they become outdated quite quickly. So you can these days use a lot of technology to perhaps put them onto systems. We talked a little bit earlier about systems like HubSpot and just some type of CRM where you can put them in there and label them as you want, so either at the business name or their individual names or whatever, so you always know where they are. And you can go back to them then in 3 months or 6 months or a year's time exactly, and know where they are. So if you are referring people, you've always got their name and email address. That's quite powerful, that is, to share the information to somebody quite quickly. So that's just being a little bit organized. So that helps as well. But I'm a genuine believer in knowing people that you want to speak to yourself to grow your business through clients, and then there's the other ones who are going to grow because of the clients that person has. So if they can refer you from their own client book, that's quite strong.
Yeah, exactly. And then just one last question, I think, is that how has Introbiz because people in Sweden, Introbiz Sweden, they don't understand right now what Introbiz Sweden, because it was launched in January.
Yep.
But how has Introbiz benefited you, and have you got a review for us?
Yeah, I set my target at whatever it costs me to join Introbiz every year, and I try and do sort of roughly about 10 times that as income coming in.
Okay.
So I set the target, and I've achieved that over apart from the first year, which is you get a big start, don't you, because you're new and you're fresh. But then you've got to try and quickly work out what it is. So then I use Introbiz as one of my sales funnels.
Yeah.
So I use LinkedIn as a second funnel, and I use Facebook as a third funnel. Facebook is the newer of the lot, but Introbiz will give me calls every week to see.
Yeah.
So I set my target. I know how I'm going to get it, and that fills your diary with people to speak to: first visit, second visit, sales, and things like that. So so it's a vital part of my sales process to keep trimming away at that every week. So I get the calls that are coming into the diary, and then you know that if you put so many in, they'll come out the other end, eventually with sales. So, but the funnel needs to be full, and it needs to be full of good people. You need to fish in the right pond. I suppose they'd understand fishing. There's no point in going for a certain type of fish if there's none in the pond you're fishing in.
Exactly.
So that's important. Yeah, that's important really to load your chances of success by doing enough of it, but you've got to be fishing with the right people. So that's where the avatar comes in. Keep building what you're talking about, write it down, put it on your computer screen, keep changing it, keep improving it, keep your communication going well.
Yeah.
So the more you speak to people and they understand and you're consistent and the trust starts to come, and then you'll start to see the referrals coming back in the other way.
Fantastic.
So Introbiz UK is growing, exponentially at the moment. So you just got to keep expanding what you're doing, but keeping the control of it, and how we can then use Introbiz Sweden as links for. I should imagine there's umpteen people across the Introbiz network that know different businesses or perhaps want to work with people in Sweden and connect with businesses and do business with them or whatever it is. So then that's the next stage, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. And it's quite interesting really for me, because when I've gone into Introbiz UK's webinars, how many people in UK actually know businesses like yourself in Sweden. It is, when they say it's a small world, it really is a small world. It is there's a lot of networking going on even behind the scenes for Introbiz Sweden and Introbiz UK, and that's quite powerful, I think.
But if you think Introbiz UK been going for about 10 years, I think it's in its 11th year now, roughly.
11th year, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got everybody that goes on their site. So everybody that Paul and Tracy speak to, social media is important to them. So I'm obviously follow Paul and Tracy quite closely. Mm-hmm. So if they have a link with anybody and a name comes up, you just make a note of it, and you try and find out who you know that knows them. Or if you know them yourself, and then you decide whether that falls into your avatar. So it all comes back as a jigsaw. But in the winter months, it's quite. I know this will come across as quite sad, but Sunday evening I usually go onto their website and have a look at any of the logos that are there that I don't know, or perhaps they're talking about people and perhaps I haven't met them. So I'll make a little list of them and I'll give myself a target. Yeah. And then I'll think, I don't know them. So then I'll ring Paul and Tracy and Carly or somebody that I know that knows these people, and there's 5, 6, 7 companies to make contact with the next week, and that's just the start, and that process starts all over again. Yeah. So it's like, by backing and by being somebody that turns up regular to the events, you get to know a lot of things that are going on. So I would encourage people in Sweden to keep going on to the site and working with yourselves and sharing customers, understanding what social media can do, because if you help, as it grows, if you all share each other's posts, then there'll be a lot of people will see this. And of course, you're looking for people who come back to your they're in my avatar, okay, but you can't just go there and just go in and expect. You start at the beginning again, so you connect with them, and you start to build those relationships.
Yeah. So
it's a challenge, but it's like anything else, you know. I'm not a great believer in cold calling. I think that's probably the pits of what we try and do in the sales industry. So I try and make the calls stronger and better. And once you know somebody else and you mention them in the calls, it takes that edge off it, and the calls become stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's amazing, Steph. I've learned loads from you as well, Phil.
Yeah. Well, just got to keep doing it, haven't you? Really, keep repeating and things like that.
Exactly. So, from Introbiz Sweden to an Introbiz member UK, thank you so much for giving up your time.
No problem.
Podcast. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Thanks, Phil.
Bye now. Ta-ra.
Well, I hope I can actually edit that, because I'm down in the middle of it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Got a bit of a meltdown, but it just happens. Then. Yeah, you can cut it out, can't you? Just stop it, cut it, and start it. So as I understand it.
Yeah, actually, on there, you flag it up on the bits you want to edit. So I flag that bit up, and then I can edit then. So that'd be good.
Yeah, and as I say, if we, at some stage in the future, if we want to do a little bit on building your avatar,